The average in-state college degree now costs $120,000 over 4 years. The job that it was supposed to unlock was the entry-level role. That's where you traded grunt work for mentorship, but it's gradually disappearing. Not because the economy is collapsing, not because companies stopped hiring, but because AI learned to do the grunt work much cheaper, and it doesn't need mentorship and training. And the sad part is that nobody is telling the students that are currently enrolled about this. There used to be an unspoken deal, and it worked reasonably well for decades. You would spend 4 years in college where you learned how to think. Then you get an entry-level job, and the entry-level job taught you how to work. The repetitive tasks, the first draft code, the basic analysis, the document review, they weren't the end goal. They were just the training ground. You built judgment by doing low-stakes work, and it really didn't matter if you got it wrong. Then you slowly became someone who could be trusted with the hard problems. Harvard economists Said Hosseini and Guy Lichtinger studied this system using data from 66 million workers across 280,000 U.S. firms between 2015 and 2025. At companies that have adopted generative AI, entry-level hiring has fallen roughly 80% per quarter since 2023. Let me say it again, entry-level hiring has fallen by 80%. And this is while senior-level employment at those same firms is still growing. Something is broken, but no one is really talking about it. You might be thinking, this is another recession story. Well, it isn't. It's something much deeper. The overall unemployment rate is 4.2%. Companies are not in crisis, and senior employees are not being fired. The layoff rate is at historic lows, and everything appears to be going great. But what's happening is more specific and unnerving. AI tools now handle the routine work that entry-level hires used to do. Very recently, Shopify's CEO made it policy in April 2025. Before any new human hire is approved, managers must prove AI cannot do the job. Duolingo went AI first and terminated 10% of its contractor workforce. Klarna's CEO said their AI does the work of 700 full-time agents. These aren't companies cutting costs in a downturn. These are companies choosing AI over entry-level humans in a functioning economy. Stanford's Digital Economy Lab found the smoking gun in the payroll data. Employment for software developers aged 22 to 25 is down 20% since late 2022, while developers aged 35 and older at the same companies are up 6 to 9%. The same discipline, same companies, but opposite trajectories. But there is a counter-argument, and it should be considered. Google CEO Sundar Pichai said AI will evolve and transition jobs, not eliminate them. He argues people who learn AI tools will do better, not worse. The World Economic Forum estimates that AI creates 11 million jobs globally, while displacing 9 million. So there is a net gain. And NACE's Spring 2026 update shows employers project 5.6% more college graduate hiring for the class of 2026 than last year. An LSE working paper from May 2026 goes even further. It argues the junior hiring collapse has more to do with the normalization of remote work post-pandemic than with AI directly. When both variables are tested together, remote work exposure is the stronger predictor. These arguments are real, and the macro data looks reasonable, but the macro data is the wrong lens. Because what AI broke isn't the employment rate, it's the process. Senior engineers don't arrive fully formed. They came up through junior roles. They built judgment through years of low-stakes work that taught them what failure looks like before it has real consequences. IBM recognized this first, and they launched a registered apprenticeship program with the Department of Labor. Purdue University is now requiring AI competency to graduate. 70% of employers have moved to skills-based hiring. The adaptation is happening, but here's what none of these adaptations have solved yet. If you're enrolled in a computer science program right now, are you wasting your time? The job you're training for may not exist in the form that your degree program is preparing you for. Not because AI is smarter or better, but because it's cheaper than you. And the company that replaced your future role with an AI prompt doesn't have to disclose it. Not to you, Not to the student, not to the university, not to the market, and not to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Your credentials can still open doors, but AI is slowly closing them. There are two ways this plays out. One way is that the employment ladder gets rebuilt. AI creates new categories of entry-level work that don't exist yet, and IBM's apprenticeship model starts to scale. Skills-based hiring closes the gap between credential and capability, and the generation that learned to prompt before they learned to code turns out to be exactly what companies need. And the other possibility is that the ladder doesn't get rebuilt fast enough. The generation that borrowed $35,000 to learn skills that AI made cheap can't access the first rung. And in 15 years, when companies need senior engineers with experience-based judgment, they won't be able to find them because AI stole their experience with prompting. So again, the macro data looks fine. But the thing the macro data doesn't measure is what happens to a generation that was not allowed to get their first job. This is Thought Experiment, where we question not just what happened, but what happens next.